In the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the Bush administration lobbied the international community to support a U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. The Bush White House argued that war was necessary because Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction that could be used against Western targets by Islamist terror groups. On March 20th, 2003, the U.S. and its allies launched Operation Iraqi Freedom, a shock and awe offensive, bombing major targets from the air while ground forces drove towards Baghdad. The United States declared victory on April 14, 2003. In a now infamous speech aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier on May 1, 2003, President Bush announced that the mission in Iraq had been accomplished.
My fellow Americans, major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed. And now our coalition is engaged in securing and reconstructing that country.
In fact, most of the casualties from the war occurred after that speech. The conflict went on for another 8.5 years. The U.S. continued to hemorrhage money and manpower as insurgents fought American forces all across Iraq. So here's a snapshot of the war by the numbers. Nearly 4,500 American troops lost their lives in Iraq. More than 32,000 U.S. troops returned home with serious physical injuries. And 30% of Iraq War veterans suffered major psychological trauma that left them with lingering mental health problems. According to the U.S. Congress, the United States spent $806 billion on Operation Iraqi Freedom. Like George Bush's mission accomplished speech, putting a price tag on the war might have been premature. Some analysts predict that the cost of veterans' health care and disability will fall between $422 billion and $717 billion in the coming years. Either number makes Iraq a $1 trillion war. But those are the costs to the U.S. alone. Researchers estimate that more than 116,000 Iraqi civilians died during the conflict, although the exact number is unknown. 1.3 million Iraqis are currently displaced within Iraq, and nearly 1.5 million have fled the country as refugees to Syria and Jordan. The last of the 1.5 million U.S. troops who fought in Iraq were withdrawn in December of 2011.
It's harder to end a war than begin one. Indeed, everything that American troops have done in Iraq, all the fighting, and all the dying, the bleeding, and the building, and the training, and the partnering, all of it has led to this moment of success. And we are ending a war not with a final battle, but with a final march toward home.
Nearly 10,000 American civilian contractors involved in U.S.-funded security and nation-building projects remain in Iraq today.